Hi everybody, we're going to talk about types of quadrilaterals today. So remember that a quadrilateral is a four-sided polygon. That means it is a shape made of only straight lines. The straight lines connect up to trap some space between them, and it is made with four sides. Anything that meets those three qualifications is a quadrilateral, and that's the sort of stuff we're going to look at in this lesson. This lesson is going to use a lot of geometry language. So if you want to make sure that you're super ready for it, go do the polygons lesson, the types of angles lesson, and the intersection of two straight lines lesson. If you've done all three of those already, you are super ready for this. If you haven't done these, you're welcome to try this lesson, but it will be easier if you do those other ones first. So let's grab ourselves a parallelogram, a quadrilateral, and start talking about it. I need a quadrilateral. How about this one? Let's look at this quadrilateral. Let's make some observations first. I see that it has two sides that are parallel. The line here and the line here continue on forever, staying the same distance apart. They're not getting closer together, like these lines are, or farther apart, like these lines are. They are staying the same distance apart the whole time. So in this shape, we have one set of lines that are parallel and another set of lines that aren't. These lines are going to touch eventually. If you have a shape with only one set of parallel lines, it gets the name trapezoid. This is an example of a trapezoid. Let's look at another shape. Let's look at this one. First, we'll do the parallel lines check. Let's check this line and this line. They are definitely coming together. So this line and this line are not parallel lines. Let's check these ones. Those are parallel lines. This is another shape with only one set of parallel lines. This is another type of trapezoid. Both of these shapes are trapezoids. Only one set of parallel lines and four sides because it's a quadrilateral. All of our things have to have four sides. Let's grab another one. What if we have a shape with two sets of parallel lines? These two lines are parallel, they will never touch, and these two lines are parallel. They will never touch. This shape is given the name parallelogram. You can see that when someone named this shape, they were really thinking about the fact that it has two sets of parallel lines. Parallelogram. This is a parallelogram. Let's look for another one. This is where it gets amazing. I hope you love this as much as I do because it's kind of complicated, but really neat. Let's look at this shape. This shape has two sets of parallel lines, but it also has four sides that are exactly the same length, which means that this is a parallelogram. It has two sides, two sets of parallel lines. However, it is special because those four sides are also the same length. It gets the name rhombus. A rhombus is a type of parallelogram. I'm going to move our trapezoids out of the way. They're going to go live up here. And we're going to make everything underneath this parallelogram right here be another type of parallelogram. This is the awesome stuff. So this is a rhombus and also a parallelogram. But it is more precise to say that it is a rhombus. Kind of like I could say a tiger is a type of cat, but it's more precise if I say a tiger. It tells me more information. Rhombus is the best word to use when talking about this shape. Let's get another shape. How about this one? This is a shape that I imagine you know the name of already. This is a shape that has two sets of parallel lines, and all of its sides are the same length, which sounds like I'm describing a rhombus. But there's extra information. This shape has perfect right angles, 90-degree angles, the type of angles that you see in the corner of a box or the edge of a book. All of its angles are 90-degree angles. So if you have a quadrilateral that has two sets of parallel lines and all of the sides are equal and its angles are all 90 degrees, it is given the name square. A square is a type of parallelogram, but saying square is more precise. Let's grab another one. How about this lovely quadrilateral here? This quadrilateral has four sides because it's a quadrilateral. It has one set of parallel lines right here and one set of parallel lines right here, which means it is a parallelogram. But it also has corners that look just like the ones on the square. The corners are right angles. They're 90-degree angles. This shape is called a rectangle because, unlike the square, its four sides are not the same. A rectangle has two sides across from each other that are one length and two sides across from each other that are another length. So a rectangle is a type of parallelogram. I have one more to look at. Let's look at this little one. This is not a parallelogram. I can tell you right now that it is not a parallelogram because look at these sides. They're definitely touching. Look at these sides. They're going to touch eventually too. So this shape has no sets of parallel lines. Not any. Having one set of parallel lines gets you a trapezoid. Two sets of parallel lines get you a parallelogram. This has 0 sets of parallel lines. However, it has some lines that are the same length as each other. It has two lines that touch, they're adjacent, they're next to each other, that are one length, and two lines that touch, that are another length. It's different from a rectangle, even though it has two lines that are one length and two that are another, because in a rectangle, the lines that are the same length are across from each other, and they let it make parallel lines. In this shape, the lines that are the same length are adjacent. They're next to each other. This shape is called a kite, which, when you think about it, this is definitely a traditional shape of like a kite that would go flying out on a windy day. I kind of like that that's the same name we use for that noun to mean the thing of a kite is also the name that we use to describe this shape. Now, sometimes you will find a quadrilateral that is none of these things. It's a four-sided shape, so it's definitely a quadrilateral, but it doesn't have any sets of parallel lines, which means it can't be even a trapezoid, and it certainly can't be a parallelogram or any of the other more precise definitions that we use when talking about parallelograms. And it doesn't have two sides that are the same touching each other, and another set of them, so it can't be a kite. If you find something that is a quadrilateral, but does not meet any of the rules to be any of these other shapes, we give it the name common quadrilateral. I'm going to show you one right here. Let's clear some space. This is a common quadrilateral. It has no sets of parallel lines, and it has no lines that are the same length. However, it is still a four-sided polygon. So this is a common quadrilateral. This is kind of your default name that you give anything that isn't any of the others. So I would challenge you to see if you can write a definition for each of these words. When you do it, you're going to probably want to leave this video up and look at the spelling for all of these words, because unless you are a positively amazing geometry word spelling person, you probably will need a little bit of help with some of these words. This would be a good place to pause if you need that. Other ways you might follow up are getting into our Google Classroom and finding the printout that has shapes of all of these that you could label. You could also draw them yourself. If you use the printable ones, maybe you'd like to make them into a memory card game where one card has the shape and another card has the name, and you spread them all out upside down and you play the memory game with them. But instead of getting, like 2 2s, you'd be trying to get the shape of the kite and the word kite. This is great stuff to do with your family and count it as like game time to have fun, because there's no reason that playing a game that just so happens to be helping you practice some geometry words can't be a really fun thing to do also. I would definitely encourage you to find a fun way to practice this, but if you're kind of just feeling like you're enjoying sitting still and not really interacting with people right now, it's okay to just draw some sketches and write some sentences too. However you choose to follow up, have a good day. Know that I miss seeing you in person, and I cannot wait until we get to come back to the classroom together again. Bye, everybody. That has been Types of Quadrilaterals.